Live from Hollywood, it's the Combined Artform and Fringe Management Pick of the Fringe. Woo! 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 Hey, there you are. Where did you go? Who's running this show? What's going on? Hey, everyone. Hey, Mike Blaha.
Hey, Matt. Hello, everybody.
Am I hearing you? Am I hearing anyone? How is everyone? Welcome to Pick of the Fringe. Miles, am I getting Michael here? All right. So Pick of the Fringe, we're back for Hollywood Fringe 2021. This is a new hybrid Pick of the Fringe. We are going to present 7 pieces that we selected. Judges from all over went out and saw, out of the 111 shows out there, as many as we could see, to pick 7 shows that we think you should try to check out, either online or streaming. So we are going to play a little piece of each of these shows and bring on the artist to come talk to us. But before we do that, my cohort here, Mr. Mike Blaha, is coming into frame. Michael's going to tell us a little bit about what Pick of the Fringe is. But more importantly, Michael, where are you? And tell us a little bit why it matters for Pick of the Fringe.
Well, I'm in Edinburgh.
I can't hear you.
I'm unmuted. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Go on. Sorry.
Okay. That's all right. Yeah, I'm in Edinburgh right now, and this was sort of the birthplace of Fringe Festival and Pick of the Fringe. It started here in the early 90s when a TV and radio presenter named Mervyn Stutter was doing a show himself for a couple of years, and people would come up to him and ask him, what have you seen? What do you like? And so he got the idea. I think the first one was, I think this is the 30th anniversary, although they didn't do it this year because of COVID restrictions. But it would have been the 30th year, and I guess next year instead will be the 30th year. And in Edinburgh, it's an institution now, and basically sells out every day, every show all month, 200, 250 seats a day. And people, love it because they use it as the reason we decided to do it, as a way to share, several shows at once with the audience and give them an idea of what's out there that, is Pick of the Fringe. It's good stuff. Edinburgh right now is very quiet, but it's, people are sort of happy in some respects about the fact that it's smaller. A lot of people are saying it's harkened back to the old days, when the Fringe back in the 80s was much, much smaller. And I think some of the people in the city actually really like that part of it. And the shows are doing well because there's many fewer shows and the audience is lessened without a lot of foreign visitors, but the Edinburgh natives are here in droves because they've just been released, in the last couple of weeks to freedom. So the ticket sales are through the roof for all the live shows. It's actually been pretty cool. We have 3 live shows, and we just had to add 4 to one of the shows at the Gilded Bloom. So there you go.
That's amazing. Let me ask you. You may have missed it. I was earbudless. Was the problem I had? Normally last year when I went 2019, and it changed my life. For anybody who hasn't gone and does this, go to the Edinburgh Fringe. There was 4,000 shows in person. Do you know the breakdown for this year?
I don't. I mean, I've gotten varying reports. I think the number of Fringe registrations, inclusive of streaming, is nearing 1,000. And it's still going up. They're accepting registrations all the way through the last weekend this year. So people literally, if you look at some of the Facebook groups like, USA to Edinburgh forums, et cetera, there are people that have just now decided to come over and do their show for a couple of days. So it's kind of amazing. Wow. I think the breakdown, anecdotally, the breakdown's got to be fairly imbalanced in favor of streaming, just because I was here earlier a couple of weeks ago when it started, and there just aren't that many live shows. There just aren't. So instead of 100 live shows, the Gilded Bloom has 20. Assembly usually has 150, 200 live shows, and they maybe have 25. So that's the numbers you're dealing with on the live side. So I think a lot of those registrations are stream streaming registrations. So
it's interesting because I may have spurred it out in the beginning, but this year's Hollywood Fringe has 111 shows altogether, streaming and in person. Normally has 400, so also like 25%. And then out of the 112 shows, 72 of them are in person, have venues, and the rest, like 35-ish, are streaming only. So it's interesting how this has obviously affected the numbers, and not, I guess, too surprising. But for us, in terms of looking for shows, it's been nice, wouldn't you say? We've been able to see a lot more shows because we've been able to stream them. Like, right. I've seen quite a few shows streaming that I would never have been able to see without it.
Yes, and I don't feel as guilty abandoning you by coming over here, because I can do somewhat my part by watching some shows virtually.
Streaming.
Yeah.
And some are really well shot and really good. And plus, you in Edinburgh gives us to say live from Hollywood in Edinburgh.
Okay.
Which I'll work into the next one.
Happy to help. That's great. And by the way, I think the numbers on the live side may be more than I know, because I haven't really been over to the Laughing Horse Free Festival. And from Alex's post, it looks like he's done pretty well with the Free Festival this year. And so there may be a ton of shows, and many of them do not register with the Fringe. They just don't pay the money. They sort of just piggyback on the Fringe. And so I know anecdotally, again, of many people that are here performing but are not reflected in a Fringe registration statistic because they did not pay the Fringe registration.
So probably more inching up as time goes by.
Yeah.
Well, if it's online, why not? You don't have to print a program. Jump on in. Speaking of jumping in, we got 7 meaty shows ahead of us. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Very excited. All right. So we're going to stop our cam, Michael and I, and bring up our first show for Pick of the Fringe. Happily Ever After. Award-winning actor Diana Elizabeth Jordan skillfully blends storytelling and stand-up dramedy as we follow her hilarious and heartbreaking and hopeful journey to find her Prince Charming. Happily Ever After.
I do remember meeting a guy on the bus once. I was going to work, and I remember this guy checking me out. He said his name was Todd. He said his name was Todd, and he gave me his number because I never give my number out on the bus. And the that evening, I called him. And we were having a great conversation. His name is Todd, and he told me he was an artist, which I thought was really cool. And then he offered to paint me naked, which was a little bit of a turnoff, but it was so fun getting to know him. And so, we're having the get to know you conversation. I have a sister, he had 2 older brothers, my parents were still married, his parents were divorced, my mom was a teacher and a travel agent, my dad was a minister. And then there was silence. And he said, "Oh, you believe in God?" Yes, I do, I said. "Well, I don't believe in God." Well, that's okay, I said. I mean, we're just getting to know each other. And to tell you the truth, I was a little bit disappointed. My faith was really important to me. But like I said, we were just getting to know each other. Then he said, and I quote, and let me emphasize, I had just met this guy earlier today. Well, we can get married in the church, but I won't go to church with you and the kids. He then went on to say, hey, if you believe in God, you're not going to sleep with me, are you? And he was right. I wasn't going to sleep with him, but God had nothing to do with it. There have also been the situations where my lack of experience was obvious. I remember taking an acting class and having to meet my scene partner Rick with a C, not a CK. Talk about the scene we were doing. We had to get together to talk about our character history. That's more that's after talk. We had a one-night stand that Rick and I, that not Rick and I, but our characters, just to clarify. We met at Grounded, a hip place where all the young Chicago actors would meet, and the best place to talk about another passion while sipping their amazing chai tea lattes. So we're talking about another passion and the who, what, and the where. That's more actor speech. He did that, I did this, he went, which he had to do very quietly because we were in a public place. And then he looked at me and took a drag of his cigarette, his unlit cigarette, and said, hey, D, did you come? And I said, where? Then there was my friend Quinn's sex toy party. It was like a Tupperware party, only, they had sex toys. And there was this other woman there, her name was Evangeline. And she was the one that brought all the products. And she called herself a pleasure coach. And she said, what might you be interested in? And I said, I'm single. And she said, oh, I have a lot of items for yourself, sexual pleasuring. And she led me over something I like to refer to as the International House of Culturally Diverse Dildos. It was the Caucasian one, the African American one, the Native American one, the Latinx one, the red and green one with the holiday edition with the jingle balls, and the clear one. For the clear people of America, I suppose. And then she handed me this book, 32 self-pleasuring positions. 32! A lot of the positions were more painful than pleasurable. Still, I felt obligated to buy something, and since the edible chocolate panties did not appeal to me, I decided to buy some massage lotion called A Night of Passion because it had a beautiful aroma. But I wound up never using the lotion because the next day I'm talking to my mom and I said, I'm into Korean sex toy party and I got this lotion called Night of Passion, and she said, oh, your daddy and I love that Night of Passion. Ah! I am still trying to get that vision out of my head. And I bought a new phone.
Woohoo! All right. Excellent.
That was amazing.
Diana, that was great. Hey, Diana, let's bring Diana out here. We got a little fan love over here. We got a little Johnny Cassidy. All right. A little love from Johnny over there.
Thank you, Johnny.
Excellent job. So I've just got to start with let's go. I just want to start that this year's Fringe since the very beginning, Diana. You've been at all the meetups, all the talks. You've always been just a wonderful force of positive energy and awareness and education. And I was to see your show and love it so much. And tell us a little bit, is this the first time you're performing it? Did you put this together for Fringe?
I put it together. I'm a solo artist, so I put it together just as a solo show and hope to do it last year. But then last year happened. So I waited a year, which in a way was a blessing because I really got to work on it and develop it more. So I'm really glad I had that creative time. And then I thought, you know what? I've always wanted to do a solo show at the Fringe. And so I did that. You know, people have told me, I think, and there was a few there because I heard once, people aren't going to listen to you for an hour or a long time. That was a fear because of my speech. I thought, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to put it out there. I hope this had a positive message about believing in your dreams and love and all the things that I think are important in the world. So I just wanted to put it out there and see what happens.
Well, good. I'm glad you did.
Well, thank you so much for letting me be a part of this.
Oh, it's our pleasure. And Diana, it's interesting. All of your shows are streaming, so there is still some chance for people to see it, correct?
Yes, correct. There's one tomorrow night at 7 Pacific time, Sunday at 2 Pacific, and again Thursday the 26th Pacific time. Go to the link. They're all streaming. None of them are in person, but if you're in England, you can watch it. And the best thing about it is you don't have to wear pants when you come to my show.
That's great.
Well, I am.
Okay, you can wear pants, but you don't have to.
And hopefully now that you're pick of the Fringe now, hopefully that will help get people to come see the show because it's very worthwhile. I hope it does.
Well, thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the other shows here. So truly an honor to be picked, and thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Diana. And again, thanks for the energy, not only that you bring during the show, but that you just bringing on screen and everywhere. It's been wonderful getting to know you. Congrats on your show. Go see this show. And thanks again for coming into our studio.
Oh, and thank you for having me. I'll see you guys and be safe, Mike and Edinburgh. Safe travels.
Thank you.
All
right. Okay, so we have a little run around. It's pretty exciting in hybrid world. Don't you feel, Mike? We're in Edinburgh. So we're actually going to jump to our third person because we're having a little technical issues.
Okay, so that's back to you then.
Yep, that will be back to me. So secret code for everyone. All right. So we are now going to move to our second show. And Michael has disappeared. Black Woman in Deep Water. Black Woman in Deep Water has its world premiere August 8th at the Hollywood Fringe. Written, produced, and starring a first-time Fringe participant, Makina Hammond, a former naval physician turned actress, model, playwright, and a AA DA graduate. Black Woman in Deep Water is inspired by the incredible true story of Margaret Garner, a runaway slave who escaped with her husband-in-laws and 4 small children while pregnant with a 5th, only to be recaptured. Black Woman in Deep Water.
In the beginning, all human beings were and Maulisa reigned over them with peace. But you see, on the first day, the sun shone in the sky. At the same time as the moon, were born two sons of the same womb who grew to become bitter enemies. One was always trying to show his worth higher than the other. And as their tribes grew, their conflict grew. And it began to poison everything under the sun. In fact, their conflict became so bitter that the gods decided to intervene. So, Maulisa consulted Ori, the Orisha of intuition, who knew the Anyamu was to lead two races, one black and one white. So, together, they commanded heavy of the Orisha of Tunda to strike the ground beneath them, separating the tribes. And why Sakpaka, the Orisha of earth, kept the tribes separate. Together, they invoked the great Yemuja, the Orisha of water, to use her waves to cast away the offending tribes to a land of ice and bitter cold. But many centuries later, descendants of the castaway tribes discovered boats and returned to Africa. And our people have been in trouble ever since. You know, when our people were stolen into slavery, Yemuja comforted them in the bellies of the slave ships. And from that point on, she called the descendants of Yoruba her children. So now we call upon the great Yemuja to keep your babies. Remember Yemuja, Mama Muja, Yeja Umoyija, Yemaya, Yemuya, Yemaya, Yemuga, Yamanga, Yemana. Take note at her. Mame Wata. Orisha of the feminine, of beauty, the first woman, deep and unknowable, deep and unknowable. You bring life, gentle, yet temperamental, like the sea. You teach us to move freely through the waves of change. You bring hope. Orisha of motherhood, defender of children, mother of mothers, stolen from their mothers. You bring comfort. Mama Moja, protect your children now. Protect my children. And bless the Abiyaku, the children that come and go. See those children all dressed in black. God's gonna trouble the water. They've gone a long way, ain't coming back. God's gonna trouble the water. We don't want to. We and the water children. In the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Thank you.
Woo! All right. Excellent. All right. Makina. Michael's there?
Yep.
Okay. Well, this is our Makina. Congratulations on Pick of the Fringe and being the first presenter in the hybrid Pick of the Fringe studio. You were awesome. Big thanks to Miles Berman helping make all that magic happen there. It looked really nice. So Makina, this was one of the shows I have not had the pleasure to see it. This was buzzing over at the Actors Company. The See Black Woman in Deep Water was just coming in, so I was very excited to put it on the list. Boy, going from naval physician to a one-woman show in the Hollywood Fringe. How's that going?
Don't ask my dad, but asking me, so far so good,
Well, your dad should be proud of you because that's an amazing piece of theater. And I'm curious how you came across the story. You wrote this as well, right?
I did, yes.
So how did you come?
Oh, sorry.
No, that's it. How did you come across the story that you wrote from?
Yeah, I was watching a documentary about Toni Morrison, and she mentioned Margaret's story just in brief as being loosely the inspiration for her book Beloved.
Oh, wow.
And when she yeah, it's very loosely based, but she just told a brief little snippet about it, and I thought, oh wow, why haven't I heard this story? It's a real story. And so I was just so curious that I just started researching her. And the more I was researching her, I was finding all these coincidences and these parallels between her life and my own. And I just felt like she was reaching out to me to tell this story. So.
Cool. Well, and so the design, the set design with the spiral and the candles, is that based on like some of the things you came across in your research, or that's your interpretation of what was going on, or?
So that part that you just saw was not Margaret. The singing was Margaret. But before that, that's a West African elder, and that's an imagined part of the story, a reimagined part that I wanted to relate her story to Africa and my own West African upbringing. My father's from Ghana. And I wanted to be able to bring African Americans, bridge the gap between African Americans here and Africa, because a lot of that history was lost. And so with the candles and everything like that, that's a West African interpretation of some spiritual routines that are done in West Africa.
I got to see the show. I was just in Senegal, and this subject definitely came up. I was on Gorée, the island where the slave transshipment point was, and it came up with my host, who's Senegalese. The whole sort of dichotomy between African Americans, United States African Americans, and the people there, because their experiences obviously are different, and the history isn't necessarily as appreciated as you might think. So I'm absolutely going to watch this show now, because it seems like something that was just on my radar just a couple months ago. So very cool.
Something I'm very passionate about.
So, those are the best ones, Makina, and it really shows when you have that passion. So well done with that. How many shows? How can we see this? What's up with this?
Oh, okay. So there's 2 more shows at the Actors Company. There's going to be one on Sunday, this coming Sunday at 1 p.m. And then my last show is on the 27th, and I believe that one's at 9 p.m. So
okay. Come on down, Hollywood Fringe. We'll have the links, all that below in the comments once we finish our show, so you'll have access to that. Thank you so much for joining us in our hybrid studio today, Makina.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure seeing that. Look forward to see the full thing.
Cheers.
All right, moving along. So we picked back up. Technical difficulty passed. Let's do our next piece. Are you ready, Michael?
Is this Mike Lane?
This is Mike Lane. Stop your camera and then just read that little description.
All right. This is Mike Lane, Mixed Race Sweetie, written and performed by Mike Lane, who is half Chinese and half Irish. Mixed Race Sweetie is a solo comedy show that explores what it means to be mixed race today. Based on his life, Mike uses stories, sketches, and songs to share his experiences as an idiot searching for an identity to call his own. Will he find one? How do you find one? Is it even worth finding one? Come see Mike Lane, Mixed Race Sweetie.
Hello, my name is Mike Lane, and for those of you who don't know me, rude, but I'd probably describe my essence as that of a divorced dad barely keeping it together. Yeah, really give off the vibe of, hey, she got the kids, but I still got the Yaris. Wirt, help me. And yes, I am mixed race. I'm half Irish and half Chinese. My dad is from Boston, and my mom is from Taiwan. Cute little couple. Yeah, there they are. Yeah. Now, they met at a computer cable company in the Bay Area. A real Silicon Valley love story that eventually led to me. Now, growing up, mixed race, biracial, HAPA, whatever you want to call it, was confusing. And I've spent my whole life trying to explain this nebulous concept, but never could quite put my finger on it. That is until I wrote this song. My dad is Irish, my mom's Chinese. I've got rosacea and I can't eat cheese. I get the best and the worst of both worlds. I'm like a pug, I'm fun to look at, but I should be dead. People say HFF babies are cute, so that makes my predilection for depression mood. Ooh. This is the mixed race ballad, part potato, part Chinese chicken salad. Not Asian enough for Asians, don't care enough about cypher for Caucasians. So I wrote this song to sing my sadness. An racial home to call my palace. Went on a date with a white lady, brown hair. She asked if I was small down there. True story. And out of spite, I said, I am so little. But it's because my white dad had a small dick. Looks like I subverted her expectations. But being snarky doesn't help my romantic relations. Woo! This is the mixed race ballad, part potato, part Chinese chicken salad. Not Asian enough for Asians, don't care enough about sacrifications. So I wrote this song to sing my sadness. A racial home to call my palace. The other thing about being mixed race is people like to do the math on you. For instance, they'll say, oh, you're good at guitar? That must be the white side of you. Or, oh, you're good at math? I think we know what side that is. Ha ha. And it gets frustrating. It also gets confusing. Like when I say I like baseball. People go, huh? Both Asians and whites like baseball, so you must doubly like it? And it's true, I do. I'm a fanatic. I cried while watching Moneyball. Yeah, the movie about baseball statistics. Listen, I can't subvert every stereotype. It's exhausting. But what I can tell you is this. My white dad majored in math, and my Chinese grandpa played guitar. Oh! Choke on that reality! Yeah! Woo! You know who can't? Hollywood. I don't understand Hollywood casting. I guess not white is my thing. I think it's because I've got too much ambiguity. A real producer questioned my Chinese authenticity. I don't want to play an incredulous tech guy whose only line in the story is, you're gonna do that? All right. This is the mixed race ballad, part potato, part Chinese chicken salad. Not Asian enough for Asians, don't care enough about sacrifications. So I wrote this song to sing my sadness. No racial home to call my palace. Thank you. Stop. No, keep going. Thank you. Stop. Okay, all right. Thank
All right. Yeah. He's great. Michael, you found this guy.
Yeah, he just, unfortunately, I think there's no more shows left. I just checked on the ticket site, and I think he's streamed the ones he's going to stream. But I'm glad I caught it in time.
Yeah, there's a few of those that we did grab it, and I haven't spoken to him. He couldn't join us today. But let's see. We'll try to get some information if it's streaming somewhere else, but that looks like a real fun show.
Yeah, he is.
So
He's got
great.
a real quirky sense. It's very cool. Good.
Nice. Okay, cool. All right. Well, that was awesome. Let's go on to our next one. This time is ticking. We've got a bunch of awesome shows, some in-house, some just streaming like that one. So our next piece, are we ready, Miles? We're going to cut out of here. Next piece. All right. See you on the other side. Okay, Confessions of a Former Boy Detective. Oh, is this you, Mike?
Yeah, that's all right. You want me to go ahead?
Go for it. No, we skipped it around. Go for it.
Yeah, Confessions of a Former Boy Detective. Daniel Davidowitz used to be one half of an accomplished child detective duo with his twin sister. They solved mysteries, made headlines, and caught bad guys. But it's been 6 years since Daniel put his last case to rest, and things have changed. Now directionless and adrift in his early 20s, Daniel tries to make sense of his life up to this point, the events leading to that disastrous final mystery, and his now fractured relationship with his sister. Confessions of a Former Boy Detective.
Hello! It's good to see you all here. Welcome. Okay, let me first just ask this, get this out of the way. Who here knows about the Davidowitz Detectives? Anybody? No. Okay, well, okay, 2 people, nice. This was like over a decade ago, so no worries if you have just no idea what I'm talking about. Daniel and Rachel Davidowitz were a pair of middle school-aged twins from the suburbs who ran a detective agency to solve crimes in their hometown. They made some headlines, solved some cases. Like, I don't want to just like throw around the word famous, but like they were not famous, at least locally. They were featured in the news a bunch of times. They signed autographs at local elementary schools. There was even a short-lived children's book series loosely based on their adventures. So, you know, a ton of kids dream about becoming a real-life Nancy Drew or Encyclopedia Brown. So when a couple kids do it for real, it's kind of a big deal. So now the fun fact of the evening, if you hadn't already guessed it, is that I am Daniel Davidowitz. No, please hold your applause. Whenever I tell people that I used to be one half of a famous sibling detective duo with my sister, they usually ask one of 2 questions. Either they ask, do you still do detective work? And the answer actually is no. No, I do not. Not at all. I am in reality currently 1 year into a degree that I don't care about at a community college. Ooh. And I have not touched a mystery since age 14. Or they ask me, oh, are you and your sister so close then? No. So So now you're probably wondering, gosh, how'd this guy go from, famous boy detective wonderkind to a washed up loner with no real future in sight? And first of all, ouch. That's harsh. Calm down. But also, yeah, I'm kind of wondering that too. When Rachel and I were younger, our parents would say this about us. They said that if we were walking through a forest and came across what was like a huge dark hole in the ground, I would be the one to spend hours investigating it, like throwing rocks down to see how deep it was, measuring it, taking notes, all of that. And Rachel would be the one to back up, take a running start, and just jump right in, That's Rachel. After our final case, after we stopped being the Davidowitz Detectives, we started high school. Yeah, I think we both coped in different ways. And I don't want to say, I think it's a little dramatic to say that Rachel became a completely different person, but look, when she was younger, she was indomitable. She used to get into these screaming matches with her parents over the dumbest things. When we were like 9, they told us to clean our room, and she told them she keeps better track of her things when they're all strewn out on the floor. They wanted to chop down the tree in our backyard, and she tied herself to it with rope, triple knotted. They had to cut it off of her. They said no to the family buying a dog, and she went up and down the street with a petition, getting our neighbors to sign it. At summer camp one year, she made a wooden sword in the wood shop and taught herself how to use it. I've seen her train feral cats. I've seen her jump out of windows. She was sent to the principal's office more times than I can count, usually for bringing her wooden sword into school. Rachel did not like when people told her no. She did not like being controlled by anyone. Honestly, I think she did everything she did just to avoid being under anyone else's power at all costs. She wasn't like a free spirit. She was a fighter. She fought every second of every day to feel like she had some control over herself and her life, and it inspired the fuck out of me. Like, I can't even convey how much I was in awe of her growing up. She could do everything I couldn't. She was my hero. But then, in high school, like I said, we coped in different ways. And for Rachel, she started dating Quentin. Quentin was a baseball player. Not the smartest guy, but nice to look at. He was the kind of guy who showed up late to school at least twice a week because he got lost. But I don't think he was lying. Rachel became like his mom, almost. I remember she was always the one reminding him to do his homework, as if that was her responsibility. And that killed me. Because here was Rachel, here was this fighter, this beast of a woman, my sister, and she started acting like this jackass's servant woman? I didn't understand. I still don't. So maybe we can blame everything that happened on Quentin. Or I guess on Rachel's decision to date Quentin. But no. It's not that easy. I think it goes back further than Quentin or anything. It goes back to the case that ended our career as detectives. It goes back to the case of the vanishing man.
Ooh, all right. Yeah. All right. Excellent. And we're very lucky today to have both the performer and I didn't know this, the writer of the show. Hey, Zack, Rocklin, Walch, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Thanks so much for having me.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. Well, as I said, I saw this show and I thought it was somebody else had written the script. And I was very impressed with the script and your acting. And I found out it was one of the same person, which was a great surprise. Tell me a little bit where this story is. This based on you? Is this something made up? Like,
It's a mix of things for sure. There's a lot inspired by my own childhood, my own sort of family dynamics, my own relationship with my sister for sure. You know, all the detective stuff is made up. I wasn't actually a detective. I wish, but I know.
All right, let's take him out. Sorry. He's not a detective. I'm sorry, Zack. That's cool.
He's an imposter. What the hell?
No, because I grew up on Encyclopedia Brown. So
Yeah.
like when you brought reference and just that, but seriously, so you weren't a detective, but obviously you were influenced by that kind of genre.
Yeah, well, my grandmother is a murder mystery novelist, so I sort of grew up with like mystery detective stories sort of just in my consciousness all the time. I love there's like Scholastic Book Fair children's mystery novel series. I would like eat those up. So it was always something that fascinated me. So it was really such a pleasure to get to write a play that dove into that concept.
Yeah, that was
But
fun.
a unique story though too, right? I mean, there's plenty of stories about child actors, for example, that grew up and what happened to them. But I've never seen one or heard of one where it's the child detectives that you're revisiting all these years. I think it's a really cool idea. And it's a great vehicle to tell the story of your own relationship with your sister in a different, setting, obviously. But I thought it sounds like a really cool show.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Michael, you did a great job of breaking up. It really was. It was nice little mysteries and that genre that I grew up with, and a very heartfelt story about a relationship, a brother and sister relationship that took a really new angle. So I applaud it. And it was a great length. 50 minutes is a wonderful length for a solo show. So thank you. It was a treat to see it. What shows can we still catch of you?
Yeah, so we have a Saturday show. I believe that one's sold out. And then we're looking to schedule another show. Haven't nailed down a date for that one yet, but it will be announced on our Instagram at boydetective.fringe21 is the handle. So if you check out at boydetective.fringe21, we will make an announcement about that final show.
Excellent. And I will know about that too. And I will make sure it's up on our YouTube channel as well. Fantastic. So we can get people out there to see it. Thanks again, Zack, for joining us. Thanks for sending the clip.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. Excellent. Well, we're moving along. We're just about halfway. We got a few more excellent pieces coming up. So I'd like to. This is another piece actually came from Thymele, the same space where Confessions of a Former Boy Detective. So let's bring on Miles. You ready for next number 5? Okay, Michael, I'll see you on the other side.
All right.
All right. Lies, anger, and fear. As this comes. A passionate but perplexed Italian-American woman searches for a solution to her addiction with a hypnotherapist, but uncovers her addiction to her family bondage. Lies, anger, and forgiveness.
davvero mortificata, ma non ho altra scelta. I gotta go. I'm sorry, but I don't have any other choice if I want to change my life. Right? Mama, Papa, baby, love of my life. Please try to understand. They told me last summer, all the professors told me I'm great. They told me I'm the new Anna Magnani. Okay? They need me. I need to try. And everyone in LA is so gentle and nice. If you went there, you would see. Whoever you bump into asks, how are you? How are you doing? So friendly. They care about people. Not like here in Rome, where everyone is so upset. And the answer to everything is always no. There are opportunities. There, they can see me. You understand? They can see me. I love you very much. Please, try to forgive me if you can. Per favore, try to forgive me. I'll do the same. I need a smoke.
I need a smoke. Excellent. Woo! All right, Barbara. Let's get Barbara out here.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us, Barbara. I'm sorry we did just a small clip because this piece is like 35 minutes.
Yeah, short and sweet.
Short and sweet and very sweet. And I love that video because I love the coloring. It really fit like the mood.
Yeah, the lighting's great in that piece.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. We did our best.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit. You were another one. Actually, you were, I think the first one on the show I know, you were planning to do Hollywood Fringe 2020.
Yes. And then the apocalypse happened.
Yes.
Wait, what happened in 2020?
Yeah.
Look,
Michael's been trapped in Edinburgh.
I missed something. I'm sorry.
I
Yeah,
missed
I've been offline. Jeez Louise. Yeah, a lot of people's plans changed last year as well. We were talking earlier about Edinburgh and the fact that when we had several shows that were planning on coming last year that obviously did not, and this year wasn't. I'm glad you were able to do it in the Hollywood Fringe. Let's put it that way, because it's still some uncertainty out there. I'm glad that there was enough certainty for people to be able to do their shows this year. Which space are you in again?
Thymele.
Oh, Thymele, which California?
That's the Kansas room.
Oh, Kansas room. Oh, in Kansas.
Yeah, I tell you, it's a great little solo spot. It's very intimate. Pam does a great job with lighting. You got Nicholas gives you a little yay out there. I think that was for you there.
Absolutely.
No, it's there. And so Barbara, you're working with the wonderful Deborah DeLiso, who's done quite a few wonderful solo shows here. Did this show change a lot? Like you were coming out HFF 20. What was there a big change? Like Michael was bringing up, like you're lucky to have done it. A lot of people opted not to do it. What was your kind of change and what made you decide to do it?
Well, it was impossible for me not doing it. I mean, I crossed the world to change my mind, to change my life. So a little pandemic wouldn't stop me. But the interesting thing about the show, that I developed the show with Deborah DeLiso in 2019 during a solo performance workshop. And I feel blessed about it because I found out that I can write in English something that makes sense. And that's very nice. And I didn't know that I was going to write something so personal. And Deborah helped me to set myself free from the burden that I had on my shoulders. And at the same time, she gave me the great gift of the writing. And the incredible thing is that I wrote this piece, it was around 20 minutes in 2019. And when I decided to participate to the Fringe Festival, I had to extend it, right? I had to add something. And I thought about it all year long.
Yeah.
When we postponed it to 2021, and I'm kind of lazy as kind of person, I kept thinking about it, being sure that I had everything under control. But when I started writing down what I had in my mind, I realized that the perspective on my life and on my past completely changed because of the pandemic. So the title is Lies, Anger, and Forgiveness. So all the feelings that I kept in my heart for 40 and past years, after the pandemic, that feels like a decade, no 1 year.
Yeah.
All those feelings had another meaning now in my life because I got over it. So whatever I was writing down felt fake.
Yeah.
Didn't correspond to the reality anymore. So I had to think and rethink about it and trying to understand what changed inside of me. So all this Fringe thing has been so therapeutic for me. And it's been probably the best chance for me. Now the phone call had to arrive now. Unbelievable. Nobody called me. So everything changed, and I'm so grateful because I feel more sold and I feel full of love without all that, darkness in my heart and my mind. So it's a good thing.
Good.
Oh, that's great.
All right.
I think that's great, and I'm glad you expanded. It's a really nice, tight little piece. And so I'm very glad. I actually saw it after it got picked, so I was very happy when it got picked because it's like a nice, tight solo show, and it does reflect on kind of the change that people are feeling, and just a very nice story that you told. So thank you so much, Barbara.
You guys.
A pleasure. And okay, well, Michael, I think you're up on the next one.
I am.
All right, so I'm giving you stall time. Very excited for this next piece. Are we ready to meet on the other side?
I am.
All right, let's bring on the next piece.
It is Strawberry Fields Forever. And Strawberry Fields Forever follows the journey of La Graduada, a young Latina grappling with the difficult truths of a postgraduate life as a brown educated woman. We see the American dream unravel through her eyes as she moves back home to financially support her family while also figuring out her path forward. Through poetry, this piece explores immigrant family dynamics, the financial impact of higher education on first-generation students, and the psychological toll of the American dream. We present Strawberry Fields Forever.
Have you ever seen a brown girl run like this? Like, there's not simply enough time to arrive. Like, there's no or between fight and flight. Like, the fittest has to be you, or else you and yours won't have another shot at survival. Or else you and yours won't have another shot at legacy. Have you ever seen a brown girl run like that? I have. I've caught glimpses of her moving through walls. I've caught glimpses of her working these fields, trying to make ends meet. I've caught glimpses of her moving through unbearable heat. I've caught glimpses of her zooming past with babies in her arms, trying to make dreams meet. I caught nothing but a glimpse of my buried history. Glimpses of brown women dreaming of survival. Have you ever seen a brown girl run like that? Like she's fleeing expectations and chasing approval at the same time. Like the impact of her feet hitting pavement will carve a new path. Like the ground is made up of her ancestors' hands, all palms ready, pushing her forward every time her feet strike the ground. Have you ever seen a brown girl run like that? I have. I've caught glimpses of her moving through white spaces. I've caught glimpses of her zooming past with books in her hands, trying to make dreams meet. I've caught glimpses of her making her family's dreams realities. I've caught glimpses, snapshots, flashes of brown, strong, resilient visions of my past, my present, and my future. We are visions intertwined. I carry this weighted quilt on my shoulders. These ancestral memories keep me warm. These ancestral memories keep me indebted. They keep me from running faster, from moving forward from me. I have dreams too. In them, my legs always turn into cement, and I can't go as far or as fast as I want to. Have your dreams ever been hacked, hijacked, taken? I think mine have. Oh. So good. So good. I'm gonna be completely honest. This bag of hot Cheetos right here has been the only thing getting me out of bed these days. My one true purpose. Taking care of this chip right here. My ancestors were runners, you know. They ran a marathon of survival. They passed the baton a long time ago so that I could be here. You see, I'm supposed to be running a marathon too. I'm supposed to be running farther and faster than they did. If I do this, maybe someday a brown girl like me can catch a glimpse of a fucking break. If I do this, maybe I'll get some sort of medal saying brown girl broke generational cycles. If I do this, maybe, I don't know, maybe our accomplishments will make it on the ancestral family fridge where my nieces and their kids and their kids' kids will see that they too can be great, that they too can be exceptional. Exceptional. I've done all the things my parents dreamt of when they came to this country. I have the bachelor's. I have the master's. I'm unemployed. And I'm not sure I've ever really asked myself what I wanted to do with my life until now. So here we are at a first generation crossroad. On the left, I could go down the road my parents want me to go on. On the right, I could go down the dark, spooky road of self-fulfillment. Do I want to be a human resources manager because that's what I want? Or is it because it's a sit-down job in front of a computer that my parents will look at and go, oh, Anita, congratulations, you won't have to be strawberry for the rest of your life, you made it! This trip doesn't feel like mine because the directions aren't mine. I'm driving, but I got my parents in the back seat yelling, exit here, exit key. No, okay, you know, para, my parents came here with a dream, But how much of that dream was actually theirs? If I'm supposed to be running a marathon, then this is our starting point. We're still living in the same 2-bedroom apartment that I grew up in 26 years later. All 7 of us living here. My parents, my brother, my sister, and her 2 kids. And now me. I have 15 cents to my name. I'm unemployed. I'm $60K in debt. Not to mention all the first-generation psychological debt I have to repay my parents for giving me the opportunity to be $60K in debt. The thing is, 3 months ago, I graduated thinking that it would simply make them proud. I didn't think it would make them exhale with relief that the rescue helicopter finally arrived to save them from this nightmare.
Ooh, all right.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hi.
Hold on one second. Wonderful job.
Okay.
Wonderful
Thank
job.
you.
And I'm going to try your name, Berenice.
Yes, you got it. You got it.
Michael, you try it.
Well, now that you've said it, I think I can do it.
I'm just really proud of it.
Hey, Berenice, where did the title come from? I think it's a really cool title. It evokes certain things of people of my age because of the Beatles song. Good.
Yeah. So I actually love that song. And I kind of got the idea to do this play because I heard a cover of that song. And the name of Strawberry Fields Forever kind of like evoked something in me. I grew up in Oxnard, California, and the play is set in Oxnard, and it's about a family living in the strawberry fields. They work the strawberry fields and they live there. So that kind of connection was definitely made when I heard the song and the cover. And I definitely knew about the song before. But re-listening to it in a new way kind of was like, oh, I could do something with this idea that I have for this play. And it gave me the name. And the reason that I put an E in front of it is just sort of like, it's an accent. So that's how my parents say strawberry. They say strawberry.
It's a Spanglish version of strawberry. It's strawberry.
It's strawberry, yeah.
And what is the running theme? Where does that fit in? Is that something that you actually were a runner, or somebody in the family was running, or?
So I am a runner, and this poem at the very beginning came to me when I was running. I was training for a marathon, and
getting all these signs, the song while you're running, it's like wonderful. That's how it influenced you.
Thank you. So yeah, it was definitely something that came to me while I was running. But the idea that we're constantly in motion, we're constantly striving for something, and we're having to work harder and more than other people in this country, definitely was what geared me towards this idea of running, and especially like passing the baton and like lineage and generations of people passing on traditions. That's definitely where that idea came from.
Yeah, it sounds like a great framework to tell the story. I mean, from that clip anyway. So.
Yeah, I excellent questions, Michael. And I just want to add, this show, I've not seen the show. I know there's one more show coming up on the 22nd. Yes. So try to get out there. It's not streamed, but this show was buzzing from Broadwater. This is much like Black Woman in Deep Water. This piece I haven't seen, but judges, people in the field, all were buzzing. So congratulations on getting that buzz and this piece, and I look forward to see it.
Thank you. 2:30 on Sunday. It's only 30 minutes.
30 minutes of that. So great. Well, thank you so much for coming, Berenice.
Yeah.
And we'll see you around. All right.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. So we're on our last piece. Not bad, Michael. A little bumpy in the beginning. A little bumpy, but smooth. It's hybrid, man. It's hybrid. What time is it in Edinburgh right now, by the way?
It is 12:17 a.m.
All right, a.m. There you go. All right. Well, the last one here, I guess I'm setting this one up. Wonderful. All right. So the last piece for the evening, which is actually one of the first shows I saw at Fringe, La Divina, winner of the 2021 Orlando Fringe Critics' Choice Award for Best Individual Performance in Drama. La Divina, the last interview of Maria Callas, is a one-woman show inspired by the life and work of the dramatic 20th century opera singer Maria Callas. The audience eavesdrops on La Divina's interview with the non-existent Mr. Wallace and are taken on a journey through trauma, a loud glimpse of an extremely complex and tormented woman, and treated to some operatic gems. La Divina.
No. No, Mr. Wallace. I was never allowed to play with frivolous things like dolls. I was only allowed to play the piano and sing. I was always too mature for my age. I'm not very happy. Should I go back to this? But I was a bold little girl. See, I grew up in Greece during the 1940s with the German occupation. The German soldiers issued this quiet ordinance for the streets. So, naturally, I moved all of my singing rehearsals to my balcony so the whole neighborhood could hear. One more. Oh, yes, Mr. Wallace. Probably my most important role was Tosca. Pardon me. Well, it was my first professional role. I first employed her to save my life. My mother, my sister, and I agreed to protect wronged British soldiers for our family home. We hid them in our canary room and were rather successful. After 6 weeks, our friends came to get them. However, the next day, Italian soldiers came pounding on our door, claiming they had heard noise coming from our canary room. They searched the house, looking for the men or evidence proving the men were there. There was a letter written to the wrong British soldiers that I attempted to hide with my foot. However, the soldiers entered. Guns pointed at me. I was scared out of my mind. They were so moved by my singing. They forgot about the wronged British soldiers and asked for more music.
Woo! Yay. All right. See what I say, Michael, right?
I know. You said she had an amazing voice, and she does. So there you go.
That was wonderful. So thank you, Shelley, for coming out here. You're coming all the way from Midwest, Orlando. You've been fringing in around the country a bit.
Yes. So I am coming. I teach at Augustana College in Rock Island, Illinois, which is about 3 hours outside of Chicago. But I attended Orlando Fringe, and then now I'm here, just fringing it all over.
Well, I'm so glad you stopped by. It was one of the first shows I saw, and it had everything I love. A little history lesson, amazing performance. And I'm not a huge opera fan, but I knew most of those pieces, and it was really great to hear it live. It was a really nice, tight piece, and very fringeable. So I'm glad you made the journey out here.
Well, thank you. It's been such a pleasure to be among so many talented performers and shows, and to be a part of this amazing Hollywood Fringe community.
Well, wonderful. We're happy to have you. And for our last piece, so there it is, Michael. We did it. Barbara, where did that? Shelley, thank you for joining us. And listen, while if all the other actors that are in person can put on your mask, Shelley, if you can put on your mask, and all the actors get out there. Meanwhile, Miles, let's bring in Zack, turn on your camera. Barbara, let's get all the gang in here. We got the stage up there. Can I get Makina? This is a hybrid. If this doesn't send the message about this year, look at this. This is excellent. All right, we got Shelley, Berenice. We got Makina out there. She's coming. We got Miles Berman there. Isabella, get out there too. We got the full team. We're taking pictures. So this is the first list of Pick of the Fringe, Hollywood Fringe 2021. We didn't mention it's a solo series, so we've got all the solo artists. We are going to have more solo shows, musicals, comedy coming up. Our next show is next Wednesday, the 25th. But Michael, we've seen a lot of great shows so far. We may have to talk about doing another one.
There you go. All right.
All right. There's everyone. All right, everyone. Thank you, Lil Wayne. Thank you all, everyone, for doing this. And we will see all of you guys here next week. And for our performers, have a great end of the run. Thank you, Miles, Isabella, all the guests, and my dear host, Michael Blaha.
And congratulations to all of you for incredible productions, everyone. So you are Picks of the Fringe now, and wear it proudly.
So I will post all the list up for everybody out there. I will send you your little official lanyards, and hopefully we'll see some of you at the international party tonight from 6:30 to 9:30 at Gather, and also over at the complex. So, hey, thanks for keeping some more of this Fringe alive. This was a really nice event to remind me Fringe and Pick of the Fringe. So thank you all.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Putting these together in Miles. This really went well.
Yep. All right.